We are incredibly fortunate to have Meliana with us tonight to moderate tonight's panel. Meliana is a lei expert, stylist, and cultural practitioner whose work embodies the deep cultural, historical, and artistic significance of Hawaii's floral traditions. Her storytelling and scholarship have helped elevate lei-making not just as an art form, but as a living practice that connects us to the Aina, ancestry, and community. As we gather to discuss the challenges that face Hawaii's floral industry, Meliana brings the perfect blend of cultural insight, experience, and industry understanding. Her perspective brings balance to this conversation, grounding economic and agricultural issues in cultural values and practices that make the floriculture industry sector so important to Hawaii. We're honored to have her guiding this dialogue and helping us weave together the voices of our growers, businesses, and culture practitioners. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Meliana.
Hello? Okay, just making sure this works. Thank you so much for that very lovely introduction, Denise. That was very kind. I'm really very honored to be here amongst this amazing group of individuals who are so key to flower culture in Hawaii and also lei. Hawaii would not be Hawaii without lei, and lei are not lei without flowers, namely Hawaii-grown flowers. Many people do not realize how much goes into a beautiful lei, and they do not realize that the making of the lei is the final step in a process that actually takes years to cultivate. The energy and aloha that goes into growing that lei garden, it's filled with palapalai and liko lehua for a special lei po'o. The hours it takes to pick and wash and delicately handle buckets of puakenikeni so they are bruise-free. The knowledge of removing the green balls from the tree that an unpicked fallen flowers leave behind to ensure the tree's flower production. The time to mow and fertilize rows of plumeria trees every year, and knowing how to train the pakalana vines to climb the trellis and the steps to store the picked pakalana just right so the flowers can last for up to 2 weeks. People also do not realize the valued relationships behind a lei. The friendships that span across generations. Growers delivering flowers with their keiki in tow, who now, 20 years later, handle the same deliveries. Conversations of flower health and availability woven into updates of grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. Friends you have never met in person, but they come to have known your favorite anthurium colors and have set them aside for you before you even call. These are the unseen parts of what make up our beautiful lei industry and floriculture in Hawaii. And it takes so many individuals and businesses and farmers, including the amazing people on our panel today, who make it all happen. So we'd like to welcome all of you. Do you mind if we start by introducing everybody? And if we could start with you, Monty, just telling everybody your part in this.
Sure, I'm Monty Pereira, General Manager, Head of Sales and Marketing at Watanabe Floral.
Hi, I'm Nick with Cindy's Lei Shop. I serve as the controller, but I'll do everything under the sun over there if you come by the shop.
I'm Carver Wilson, started as a protea grower, and I'm president of Maui Floral on Maui.
My name is David Fuertes, and originally from the island of Kauai, from Kamakani, Kauai, brought up in a sugar plantation, and farmer teacher with the FFA, and I have a nonprofit called Kahua Pa'amua, but I'm representing Lepoina Ole today. And I want to say, whoever is associated, raise your hand with Lepoina Ole. Yes, sir. Right on. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, this is an amazing group, so we're really lucky to have you, and I think we're all really excited for what we're going to get to hear today. So Monty, our first question is for you, Monty. Watanabe Floral works, and Watanabe is obviously so important in this industry, and so many memories for me of Watanabe of like running into that freezer with my tutu and having, begging her for her sweater that she always had in her car ready just in case she had to stop there. So many memories there. But Watanabe Floral works closely for both farms and customers. What changes are you seeing in customer preferences, and how can marketing or branding help create stronger demand for Hawaii-grown flowers?
Well, I think most of you know Watanabe Floral has been around for quite a while. We were growers for the first 68 years. So what Eric alluded to in his keynote presentation, we were the victims of that. One of the hardest decision that we ever had to make at Watanabe Floral was to close the growing operations, both in Kamuela, where now all your Costco cucumbers come from, and in Mililani, which is now Mari's Garden. Both of those locations were our farms, but over time, because of competition from South America specifically, because of the flowers that we were growing, we had to shut down operations and be more of a marketing type of a company. So in terms of demand and what we're seeing, there's not a whole lot of difference. You know, in terms of local flowers, we can't get enough real local flowers, especially lei flowers. There is far more demand today for lei than ever before, because lei is not just in Hawaii anymore. Lei is all over the world. And so there is far more demand than there is supply, especially for local grown product. But it's also a social media world, you know, so brides, when they're getting married, they look at Pinterest, and what's on Pinterest is what triggers what they want. And some of those things are not things that are currently grown in Hawaii, you know, so having young, you know, farmers be interested in growing temperate flowers, I think would be very, very helpful. In the meantime, investing in the marketing to allow the promotion of Hawaii-grown product to the rest of the world, I think is going to be very advantageous, because like Eric says, it comes down to, at the end of the day, you have to turn a profit to support your workers and to support the families. And so that's something that can be really helped, is investing more in the promotion of locally grown product worldwide.
That's really neat. I was sharing with you yesterday, I was part of a wedding, and it was so neat to see, you know, they're all from the mainland, but to see that they had gone to Greenpoint and to Hilo and picked up a bunch of just locally grown flowers and created this amazing flower arrangement, you know, and I was so amazed. I would never have thought to do anything with those flowers, and it was really neat to see that sort of creativity for a mainland-based wedding. But thank you for sharing. Nicholas, the next question is for you. How have imports, supply shortages, and tariffs affected your ability to source flowers locally for lei-making, especially when demand is so high?
I think the biggest supply shortage I saw during my time was during the COVID pandemic. It was a stress test of how resilient like our local ag industry was. We got some people out of retirement in their 70 to 90-something-year-old, you know, age. Nona's orchids in Kahalu, Hawaii Pacific Orchid. Up until we approached the point where we reopened tourism and demand then re-skyrocketed, we saw a surge of record tourism numbers, I think, in 2021. We then kind of resumed our dependency on the Thai orchid after, I think at that point, there were only one flight a week coming in. And with the mass buyers kind of buying from this market to make up this dependency, the hotels, like the large event companies, they chose the more cost-effective option, the more physically durable option. They embraced it, and it might be controversial to think, but I think that the local flower industry, as it stands now, needs the Thai orchid industry to supplement it. Since we're at a 90-10, I mean, not just orchids, but cut flowers, until we reasonably build up, we make the investment for local flowers, especially the more temperate ones that don't have, like, say, a week-long shelf life. I'm talking about our favorites, like Pikake, Pakalana, Avapuhi, like tuberose. There was an underinvestment from Thailand having accelerated their exporting into like our market from the mid 90s. I think we paid about 3.5 cents then. It's about 3 times that now. And it could only last so long. If we went through the COVID pandemic again or anything similar, I don't think we could recreate the same like 1 year-ish like resiliency that we saw during that time. As it relates to tariffs, I think for us at least, we're absorbing those costs. We're not passing them on to the consumer outside of grad season. we're trying to meet people halfway. We know that cost is one of the biggest issue for both the consumer and the producer.
Thank you for sharing. I think it is such an interesting thing to have to train the consumer, though, to spend more for a lei, at this point, because it seems to be where we're at. And I'd pay more for your lei. For the next question is for Carver. From Maui's floral experience exporting beyond Hawaii, what can we do to increase local productivity and strength, Hawaii's competitiveness in national and international floriculture markets?
Well, thank you. Also, I just want to thank everybody for being here, and I'm really honored to be on the panel. When I was thinking about this question, because I can't remember squat, I just decided to make it squat. So one of the very first things that happens that we need is science. We've benefited tremendously from the College of Agriculture's protea hybridization program. And if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be where we are today. Another thing that we learned was you have to have scale. Our customers, we found them by accident, and they wanted a lot of flowers. And that was very important to be able to make it to the next thing. And they were also very demanding for uniformity, quality. They wanted the same flowers, they wanted a lot of them, and they wanted them cheap. And they wanted air freight was a big deal. So we became good at air freight. Also, finally, trends. You have to know what you want, what they want. And so it was very challenging. We've shipped flowers all over the world. We used to be shipping, 20 years ago, we stopped basically our international business, way backed off. I think our last major harvest was in 2007 when we shipped. We shipped a lot of flowers to Holland and to Switzerland. We shipped flowers to Taiwan and China, Hong Kong, Japan, Canada, Germany. But these are the key things: the scale, the uniformity, the speed, the action. We were able to cut flowers on Sunday, and when we went to bed on Tuesday night, they'd be processing them in Europe. That's unbelievable. The other thing I thought about was the also squat, was the local productivity and what it takes to do this. One is the support. This is not done by ourselves. You have to have an environment of success. You have to have institutions that are all working together. This is a community effort to make an agricultural industry possible. Quintessence, which is a heavenly element, the fifth element and I think that's Hawaii and aloha spirit. That's really critical. You have to have something different, unique. That's really important. People want to have something. You have to, in order to sell this, we're not the low-cost producer, so we have to have a unique product and action. You have to get moving. This business is about movement, and the action has to be attractive as well to get people involved in it. And then finally, the technology. And part of that technology could be described as the science of how to make it easier.
Thank you so much. Our next question is for David. And David, what you're doing on the Big Island is so amazing, and we're so excited about the future of the Pinot Ole project. From your experience working with young people in agriculture, what approaches do you think are most effective for inspiring and training the next generation of floriculture growers in Hawaii?
First of all, thank you for having me be on this panel. I'm going to speak in my native language. And if you can't understand me, take out your phone, go to Chat GPT. I'm going to talk English, and it's called Pidgin English, because I was raised on a sugar plantation. So for me, I think before we can really talk about training, we got to look at economic development in a three-pronged approach. One, education system. Two, the employer. 3, the community. Education system, we gotta look at how from P to pest, high school, we should be talking about careers, not just passing them through so that they graduate. Yeah. If a student has a strong interest in a certain area, I think our education system should try to harness that. 2, employers, as Eric said, take care of your employees. If you can give them benefits, give them. If you can train them to be leaders, train them to be better in what proficiency they're trying to accomplish, give them that training. So the employer also has an important part of this 3-prong approach. To me, I believe that, and I use the ranchers on the Big Island. Why does a cowboy stay in a ranch until they die? It's because they get housing. Yeah, it's because they're part of the family, right? So to me, I think, I got only 1 more minute. Okay, so to me, I think the next approach is community, nonprofits like us guys working with the other 2. Training, I think we in the FFA we have programs in public speaking and all of that. I taught ag from the time of 1974, and we had corsage making. And I was thinking, what is corsage making? Why we gotta do that? And because the national is corsage making, I always try to push for lei-making. But corsage making, this guy by the name Matsu Okamoto from Kailua School always won. And the reason why he's over there. Raise your hand, Matsu. That guy is over 80-something years old. The only reason why he won is because he had a good floriculture program. And so he had all the flowers that he could, and he partnered with other flower industry people, So I think happily now the FFA has a competition for the last 2 years, lei-making, and I think it's so beautiful. Yeah. So I bow. Shucks, I was going to say some more.
Don't worry, you'll get another shot here. Thank you so much. So our next question is for you, Monty. With nearly 90% of lei flowers imported and tariffs impacting costs, how can Hawaii businesses keep local flowers competitive while maintaining accessibility and tradition?
I think that's a very important question because I think we all agree that we definitely want the local flowers and the local culture traditions to continue and to prosper. The hard question is, how do we do that effectively? So there's no really easy answer for that. And one of the concerns that I have daughters that recently graduated, and unfortunately, like many of us, they've relocated to the mainland for better opportunities, for cheaper living, and that's all part of the equation of what we're having to deal with. But there's also a segment of the young population now. If you go to a graduation, especially a high school graduation now, you'll notice that as much as we love and have a passion for floral lei, there are many alternatives that they're currently using because of cost. So you have tubes around their waist, you have floaty devices, you have Costco, they go to Costco, they buy a case of cookies and they string it, and that's what they're passing out. So I think we'd be naive to not think that there is a financial component to kids at graduation who want to give lei to 40, 50 people if they're having to pay $40, $50 a lei. That's not really realistic. So as an industry, we have to figure out how to lower these costs. And that's going to come from help from government leaders, whether it comes in some form of subsidies throughout the process. We have to find a way to lower the cost to make it a viable product for our kids to be able to really enjoy from the consumer standpoint, from the marketing standpoint. What David's organization is a proponent of and getting into the schools, that's also key, because it's educating the kids at a very young age, the benefits of floral lei, the benefits of culturally significant lei. and teach them at that point. Because growing up in Hilo, I'm a Hilo boy as well, like Eric, we grew our own plumeria. So when it was May Day, you go in the yard, you pick your flowers, you string the lei, and that's what you use. And that's not what you really see right now. But if every kid started to grow something in their home, you never know how much of an impact that can make long term.
Yeah, amazing. I so agree. And moving on to Nick, I always talk with your mom. She has a brilliant idea of every, child in elementary school in Hawaii being given a lei needle and taught right away. This is part of what we do, mostly from probably the elementary school flowers. So that's something your mom's always brought up too as the kids. So next question is for you. From an operations perspective, what support, such as labor for lei stringing, grower capacity, or infrastructure, would help lei shops rely more on Hawaii-grown flowers in the future?
To comment on your comment, we've sold more lei needles this year, I believe, than we've ever sold. Something is resonating. The paina that you did a few years ago with the book launch, just this renewed interest to be able to be true to local culture, flowers that have a history in Hawaii for 100, 200 years, at least. It'd be nice to see more of the native flowers come back. As far as labor goes, that's a real challenge that goes hand in hand with the supply challenge. I think both need to be solved in order to solve the question of how to, change course, go from 90% import of foreign flowers to be able to shift back to local. We need more people to be able to see the incentive. Young people, middle-aged people, anybody that has the interest, has the talent to participate, in lei stringing, finished assembly, say in small to mid-sized shops. For mid-sized shops, and I think the incentives can also be addressed at the grassroots, people that have a yard, people that have a home, that their parents, their grandparents, aunties, uncles, some kind of family connection, which is more common now because of the cost of real estate. It makes land access very difficult for people that just want to start, that don't foresee a break even in 3 years to 5 years. We need to give people hope to mitigate those costs, echoing kind of Monty's sentiment about getting people to enter in the market, even for the overhead for growing, say with fertilizer, soil mix, pesticide in the natural way. And just for these things, I think that there could be things done at the policy level in the form of financial aid. I think nonprofit and the city and county did I think what Eric called a public-private partnership on a small level, where Malama Mauna Lua, I believe they gave out barrels for rain catchment this year. And there have been bills, I think in the House and the Senate here for a legislator that have, if they were passed, they would have allotted for tax credits being assigned to residential homeowners for rain catchment. But I think that's a direction, these are things that can be getting us in the right direction. Yeah.
Agreed. Thank you so much. Next question is for Carver. With growers aging out and recent disruptions on Maui, what does resilience look like for producers? How do we bring in new growers and support the future of local flower farming?
That's a really good question. We had a pretty, well, as everybody knows, we had a fire in 23, and we've had a severe drought. And those two factors have really hurt us on our production. This year, this fall, just now, we have less ginger tropical flowers than we've ever had in my life. I've never seen it this dry. We need, fundamentally, we need more water. Mm-hmm. Warren's talked about it for all of my life, that we don't have enough backup reservoirs. There's a lot of infrastructure issues that are when you're trying to do something at a farm level. Also, I think that, as I think Monty said the other day, lei stringers, lei sowers are in short supply. Mm-hmm. And Eric's exactly right. You have to have a future. You have to have a career. It has to be more than something that you can do in your spare time. I think it's incredible that we have this renaissance in lei. Mm-hmm. going on right now. It's amazing to me that people will pay $100 for a lei. I mean, we are very close to the Kamehameha schools over on Maui, and the competition among the kids and everything is phenomenal. They all make lei. It's a fantastic thing. But we have more and more people wanting things for sports events, for performances, so the demand is there. To get growers to do this, to get people to participate in it, that's the key thing. And I think like it has to be a career, it has to be exciting, it has to be fun.
I definitely agree. The demand is definitely there. You see, you know, come time for senior portraits, everyone wants a lei and a head lei, and that's so different than it was even when I was young, you know. And so I love that. I love seeing all the creativity too of these young lei makers. It's so amazing. So our last question is in our panel, our last question is for David. In what ways do you see programs like the Lei Poina Ole project helping young people rediscover the culture roots and economic potential of Hawaii's lei floriculture traditions?
So we're talking about culture and economics and training young kids. And in North Kohala at our Kahua Pa'amoa, we train them at young age from 9 to 11 years old. Summer program for 1 whole month, immersed into culture, immersed into agricultural activities from crops to hogs to chickens to cattle. And now we're doing flowers, and we train them to be also love the culture as well, you know. So, and at the end, they slaughter the pig, they slaughter the chicken and make chicken long rice. They kui the poi, the taro. They make kololo, they make the imo, and we make one paina, you know, for their families. But it's the hands-on stuff that we need to teach kids at a younger age, not when they're high school. If we can get up before middle school, and we want to teach them how to hana, how to really work. We make them work until they, you know, and they sweat and they go, wow, uncle, I get blister. I said, good, that's good. Now you know you're alive. You know, you can feel them, you know. But we want them to learn how to work, what is really hana, and coming from their ha and their na'au, and work hard. And when they can do that, they can transfer that work attitude to whatever career that you want to do later on. But for our program, we're a small little farm propagating, and we have 6 farmers coming, and they're vegetable farmers, but they want to learn how to make flowers. So we propagate every month. They come and they take home, and they're trying to accomplish our mission is to produce flowers, you know. And can you imagine with me if you're driving down a farm, a vegetable farm, and on the side of the road you see plumerias. And one plumeria is 7 cents, one plumeria, you know. And as you see the crops growing along the fence line, you see stephanotis, you see pakalana. If it's in a solanaceous crops like eggplant, pepper, tomato, why not put tuberoses in the beginning and in the end, or in between? Why not put agapanthus? Why not put even bozo, you know? Things that we can make pakalana and all of these flowers that we can grow, your landscape would be much more beautiful. And hopefully, our FFA program, I see some teachers in there, and I'm so glad that you guys come to this kind of program, because if you can teach your kids not just how to make leis, but how to raise them, you know, and really immerse into the culture. So we love our culture. We love Hawaii. But what is a culture without agriculture?
Fabulous. Wow, that was, excuse me, that was wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for your thoughtful responses. I'm so appreciative of everybody's words. That was really amazing. I'm sure everyone has questions, so we'd like to open it up now for questions if anybody hasn't. And I think Eric's coming back up. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oops, sorry. Okay, I'll be taking questions. If anybody has anything. I don't see anybody quite yet. Okay, I will ask a question then to Uncle David. So for your project, for the lei flower growing on your farm, is it extra work for the current farmers to add that to their repertoire, I guess, of their day, or is it sort of like it's not going to be that much of a time constraint on them if you're sort of adding this beautiful flower farm that you just described to me that I want to come visit?
You know, if you're farming, you got to think about profit. We're not farming unless we're not making money. Otherwise, we won't be doing that.
Yeah.
So for our program, we're having them change the paradigm to think that, hey, let's grow flowers as well. It's just not just vegetable, not just cattle, not just hogs. Even within our own hog pens on the side, we can put lantern lima. You know, we can put, you know, lima as a kuli, like this kind of stuff, you know, if you're in the right environment. But it's just allowing them to be more versatile, at the same time produce quality flowers so that our wholesalers and our lei makers can be able to use, you know.
And it seems
Everybody gotta make money.
yeah, it seems like it would add value.
It's like a
you know?
potluck.
Yeah.
We all come with something good, the best, yeah. But when we leave, yeah, I guarantee you, if it was somebody made Portuguese sausage, yeah, get only one Portuguese sausage on the plate, nobody gonna take them, you know, because it's Kohala and that's Hawaii style, you know. We're not gonna wipe them out and everybody going home with extra food. So just like business, if we can think about it as potluck, everybody make money.
Thank you so much. Anybody? Yes. Oh, yeah, right here.
Aloha kako. My name is Britt, and I'm the owner of Haku Maui. Mahalo. I just have one question that is always at the top of my mind, and it really does have to do with these Thailand orchids and the mass amount that we see here in Hawaii when we talk about lei. And we talk about something that is so culturally important and that we're working to preserve time and time again. And how can we make a change in this over time? And so if today, you know, we're focusing on protecting Hawaii's floral industry, why resume dependency on Thai orchids and prioritize cost efficiency for million-dollar and billion-dollar corporations here in Hawaii, right? Hotels, luau, things like that. Instead of prioritizing locally grown flowers and push for the sale of what that means as lei in Hawaiian culture for representation and value. And I'm not talking about when we ship lei, you know, out of Hawaii. I understand that it has to be long-lasting and things like that. But for these experiences here in Hawaii, how can we shift that narrative and show them that, yeah, maybe it's not gonna be a $2 or $4 lei, it might be 10, but it's so worth it, and your guests are already paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and we as a lei maker are making $5.
Yeah.
And how can you help us as well? So I don't know, it's a kind of a long question,
No,
but I
it's a
just
great
kind of want to
question.
know what you guys
Great
feel.
question, and it's so nice to see you in person. Does anyone want to take this?
I'll take that because we definitely use Thailand orchids as part of our repertoire. But again, I go back to what I said earlier. If we had a choice, it would be all locally grown flowers. It would be all locally grown lei. But unfortunately, we're not anywhere near that point at this point in time, especially when you get to holidays, right? When everybody wants a lei from April through June, it's not even close to being enough, So that's why right now we're still supplementing with Thai orchids. For us, we only ship the Thai orchids. So the local lei we keep as much as we can here. For us, at times, we struggle with supply, so we don't even take orders for it. So the only way you can get the local lei, you have to walk in and see what we have in our coolers, and whatever's there you can take, because we just don't know when it's going to be available. So I think through this cause and through this kind of, over time, when we can get the supply up, there is well, I'm not going to speak for the others, but certainly for us, we would prefer to have the locally grown lei. And our customers prefer to have the locally grown lei. They settle for the Thailand lei. And that's just the truth of the situation right now. But it's not because we don't want the local lei, that's for sure.
Interesting, thank you. Take a question.
Hi, my name is Angelo. I'm a teacher at Highlands Intermediate School. Thanks. I also don't like talking in front of people, so sorry. I have a question about, given the cost of land in Hawaii, especially farmland and the zoning laws and all that other stuff, do you see a future in moving towards like an urban farming model where everything is kind of indoors and climate controlled that way? And what do you think the feasibility of that would be, and what steps maybe we would need to take our youth towards embracing that opportunity if it exists? Thank you.
Great question. Is that Eric? Eric, can I take this? Yeah.
Thank you for the question. Urban farming has its challenges, even for food, because it costs so much to put up a vertical farm if you want to go high tech. That what the studies that I have been watching, vertical farming is not an easy nut to crack. The upfront cost is so high, and then when you're selling your crop, if you don't have a market that's going to pay you the price you need, and if you have to go into the market and be competitive in the market, it's very similar to competing against the Thai orchid. Because I studied a model in Singapore. They put millions of dollars in vertical farming, millions of dollars. 8-story buildings they built for vertical farming. And they grew fish and vegetable. But when they came to produce, when they came to sell, they put it in the Singapore market, and the wholesalers or the buyers didn't buy. They said they had to compete with what was coming in from Malaysia. So all of those vertical farms all failing right now, because when push comes to shove, they have to meet market price. So they exceeded, in other words, they overproduced, they exceeded their niche or boutique market, and they're closing now. So vertical farming in urban areas, you have to be real careful. You have to still run a business. Yeah? You still have to be able to run your business past the grant side of the business. Yeah. So whatever you produce, you got to make sure that you have a market for what you produce. And in our flower business, it's very similar. If you look at the Thai orchid, what the Thai orchid has done, maybe in the last 5 years, maybe Monty can chime in on this, they have raised the price on that Thai orchid where it's 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than what that lei was originally. But what that does too is it allows a ceiling to raise for the local producers. So now if you're growing UH800, a cultivar that is like a white dendro that is highly productive, thanks to Dr. Amori here in front, that now the local growers, if you put up a greenhouse and you want to grow UH800 for white dendro production for the lei market, the price is higher for them too now. So there's a back end, a double edge to that sword. Yeah. So it's a balance. We always have in business. You always have to have that balance. Yeah. And so I don't know if I answered that question, but it's not simple. It's not a simple answer to that question, though. Carver.
I'll add a couple of things to that, too. Thanks, Eric. Thank you for your question. I think that one of the things that is happening is that there's more land available. I think there's an effort on the state and the counties, and I think that large landowners. There's some people that maybe were farmers, their parents were farmers. Maybe they have land available that they would rent it out. I think that one of the advantages of having an outdoor farm is working outdoors. I know that some of the people that I work with, they go like, yeah, we like to work outdoors. I don't want to work inside. So there's an advantage. And I think that the urban farms are an expensive process. I mean, one of the biggest crops is cannabis. And that's challenging, even that it's so expensive. So I think the answer is that there's more land available than you think. And I think that people should know that.
Thank you so much. It looks like, unfortunately, our time is up because we have all this beautiful food to eat and so many more wonderful things to get to spend time together to do. But thank you so much. Huge mahalo to all of you. It was amazing. Thank you so much for your insight, and also to Eric Tanoy thank you for your beautiful presentation. Learned so much. And I think everyone will be around this evening and open to talking if you'd like.
Okay, I'm going to close out. I want to thank again Miliana and Eric and our panelists, Monty, Carver, David, and Nick. Thank you very much. So before we dive into the eating and drinking part of tonight's evening, I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible culinary talent behind tonight's menu. Each of our featured chefs created dishes that highlight Hawaii's grown ingredients and reflects the idea that both flowers and food begin with the aina. The Air dishes showcase local agriculture and incorporate floral elements that celebrate Hawaii's beauty and the connection between our farmers, floriculture, and food. So please join me in recognizing Chef Lenny Ushidate of Prince Waikiki, Chefs Ahu Hedema and Nili Yildirim of Istanbul, Hawaii, Chefs Ben Rosicki from Cocoa Head Cafe, and Casey Kusaka from Little Plum and Lady Elaine. A big mahalo to our presenting sponsor again, Central Pacific Bank, and to all of our supporting sponsors for making tonight possible. We'd also like to give a special mahalo to Iris Shimabukuro of Calais Eggs. Are you here, Iris? Thank you again. She is going to provide all of you with a dozen eggs if you complete tonight's Eat, Think, Drink survey. Yes, we're going to make you work for the eggs tonight. But your feedback is incredibly valuable to us and helps us improve future events, evaluate our speakers, and ensures that our program continues to meet your expectations. Once you submit the survey, wait, I'm talking about the eggs. You guys got to listen about the eggs. You'll receive instructions on how to redeem your eggs during the pickup period, because some people want to pick up eggs. The pickup period is November 22nd to December 6th, just in time for Thanksgiving. The survey link will be emailed to you tonight, and the QR codes are posted throughout the room for quick, easy access. Please be sure to submit your survey by Friday, November 21, if you want those eggs. On the reverse side of the post survey, you'll find a link to our annual campaign running now through December 31st. Your support fuels everything we do, from inspiring our keiki through our classroom programs to hands-on workforce training to community events like Eat, Think, Drink. So together we're growing Hawaii's next generation of farmers, innovators, and food leaders. And if you'd like to donate, simply scan the QR code on your table. I really appreciate it if you guys consider a donation to Hawaii Ag Foundation. And you can also watch all 30 episodes of our Eat, Think, Drink on YouTube, or on our website. It's on our website. Just click Watch Now. We are also offering our Keiki in the Kitchen with Mika the Sous Chef cookbook for just $10, and all the proceeds go to the Hawaii Ag Foundation. It's just in time for Christmas. So please, there's the books, the dolls, the spoons, everything outside in the front. And on behalf of Hawaii Agriculture Foundation, mahalo for joining us tonight. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. The bar is now open. We invite you to relax and enjoy some good food and drink. Have a wonderful time and drive home safely.